Live on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. Live on the internet. All right, everyone, we're here to answer all your home buying questions. You want to buy a house? You need to know what it takes to get a loan. So make sure to fill up that chat box with all of your questions about your scenario. So let us know what you make. Let us know what type of employment you have, what type of income you make. Ask us if it's going to work in buying a house. Ask us what it takes for down payment, credit score, what programs are available. Give us your exact scenario. Say, hey, my spouse just started working this job, getting paid this way. Can we buy a house? We want to help every single one of you get into a house in 2024 or as soon as you guys want to. So we're here to answer all the questions, but we need you to light up that chat box. Ask all the questions. We will answer every single one of them. And we will give you your exact scenario. And we'll tell you if you can buy right now. We'll tell you if you can't buy right now. Now, is that an absolute approval or not? No. But it is a very good, educated answer to send you down the right path of home ownership. So if you want to buy a house, ask us all your questions. Give us all your concerns. Give us all your scenarios. But I need you guys to ask the questions in the chat box. Okay, guys? So whatever it is, let us know. You guys should know that buying a house, it's not that hard, guys. It's not that difficult. It's not that difficult at all. What's difficult is living a good life. That's what's difficult. What's difficult is holding down a job. That's difficult. What's difficult is paying your bills on time. What's difficult is saving some money for the down payment. Those are the hard parts. But if you've already done that, if you guys have already done the hard work, buying a house is not that hard, because all we're going to do is say, show us 2 years of work history, show us your down payment, let us pull your credit, and we put the data together. So the truth is, we don't build the file. You do. You build your file by living your life, by earning your money, by working hard, by doing the right things like paying your bills on time. So, Mr. Finance Man, what do you got for us today?
Well, first off, I've got a question. Do I have to be in the job for 2 years?
Sexy black.
Or just history? So, good news. Very good news. You could be on the job 1 week. 1 week. If you've got a 2-year work history in the same industry, bang, done. If you have a big employment gap, we might have to deal with that. But 1 week on the new job, you're good to go.
Sexy black.
Yeah,
I like that. All right, let's give you the rules, guys. Remember the rules. Every time we're answering one of your questions, we need you to tap that screen the whole time until we're done addressing you. So, Sexy Black, I think you lit us up. Thank you for that. Teacup A. Start tapping that screen. $90K a year, no debt, 700 credit score, $30,000 saved. Can I afford a home? Yeah, you can afford a home. Absolutely. I got this, man. I got this. Don't worry.
What happened to my papers?
Probably in the folder. So $90,000 a year, that's a good start. 700 credit score, that's the hard part right there. $30,000 saved, very difficult. So when I say you guys build your file, Teacup A has built the file. So I can tell you right now, comfortably, between $400,000 to $450,000, easy Teacup. That's not a problem at all. And you did the hard work. That's the hard work I'm talking about, guys. It's that money, it's the credit, it's the assets that you saved. Teacup A, great job.
Jamie Maney, conditionally approved. Appraisal tomorrow. Congratulations on the approval. That is a very important part. What are the conditions? So I can have a conditional approval where I condition that I show this guy has a job. So that is a condition. That can be a condition. It have to be a condition. Prove this guy's a U.S. citizen. That condition could hurt you. Most of the time, if you have a decent loan officer, your conditions are small, like prove you're still working, prove you still whatever, you got this income coming in. So it's pretty simple, but that's the conditionally approved is that. So good news on you. Good appraisal coming tomorrow. One of the conditions will absolutely be the appraisal has to come in at value. Because if it doesn't come in at value, the whole thing doesn't work again.
Yep. And if you guys are interested in getting a home loan, go to the link in the bio, select apply for a home loan now. Sexy Black, you're welcome. Teacup, you're welcome. Temple Tony. 120,000 salaries, Student loan debt, $30,000. $40,000 saved. 685 credit score. What is my budget? So here it is, Tony. Here it is. Another scenario that I just said. We don't build your file. You build your file. Tony, you built a beautiful file right there, right now. One of the questions is student loan debt. Student loan debt, $30,000. Are you deferred? Are you making the full payments? That's a big window there where we don't know what's going on. But I can tell you that as a first-time home buyer, going FHA, we just hit you with 0.5% of that loan. $120,000, you're in the 500s. You're in the 500 purchase price. Easy. Easy. No problem. But what we have to do is put the file together to confirm that.
Is the name. I'm trying to think if we got
a lot of applications over the weekend.
Yeah, we did get a lot of. No, she's already got conditional loan approval.
Oh.
Updated banks told you this.
Yeah.
How long does an appraisal take? The appraisal. So there's an inspection. There's the appraisal. When it's very busy, sometimes 10 days. Sometimes 10 days. VA is notorious for this. VA will say, hey, listen, we do it when we do it. That's how it works. However, because the market is very thin right now, which means there's not a lot of business, not a lot of transactions, they're going pretty fast, usually within 3 to 5 days. You can even pay extra money for a rush, but you probably don't have to because there's not a lot of appraisals taking place. And because of that, appraisers are looking for work. Appraisers, like anybody else, they get paid by working. And if there's no appraisals out there, they're not working. So they need to go do appraisals. And once they get them, they know if they take too long, the AMC will assign it to somebody else. So they're out there trying to get it quickly. So usually 3 to 5 days. Now, don't confuse the inspection with the appraisal. A lot of people think, hey, the appraisal was done yesterday. No, the inspection was done yesterday. Once they do the inspection on the house, and they go back to their office and they go, okay, what other houses are like this in the neighborhood? What's the square footage? What have they done good? What is bad about this property? That's the appraisal. The inspection is inspecting the property. The appraisal is taking the inspection, putting it into the overall market with the comparative market or model matches, and then giving you a value.
Yeah, Lisa, did you give us a bunch of hearts for that one? That was a good answer. Charisma Cardenas, thank you for the love. User 3988, crazy question. User 3988, start tapping that screen. I have a 2.75% loan. Bought in December 2020. Is there any way to buy my rate lower?
You're right. You are crazy. You're straight crazy, loco, insane.
At least they know it.
Insane, crazy ass question. That's super crazy. I think you're flexing. I don't actually think you want to buy your rate down. I think you're flexing because I'm going to approach this two different ways. One, can you buy the rate any lower than 2.75? It doesn't. There's no rates below 2.75. You got that in 2020. Back then you could get it. It's an amazing rate and you know it. Now, the reason you would want to buy your rate lower is so you want to pay the bank less. That's the idea behind it, especially if you got money. So there is a way to pay the bank less. Very simple. Make principal payments. Start paying your principal down quicker. And the beginning of the loan, the first 15 years of the loan, most of the money goes towards interest. Most of it. Very little goes to principal. And because of that, there's very little principal reduction on your overall aggregate loan. However, if you started making, since you did in 2020, we're only in 2024, you're only 14 or 4 years into this 15-year half of the 30-year where they pay most of it goes to interest. The way you game the bank is pay principal. So if you've got enough money to buy it down, pay principal. Now, if you use New American Funding, there's actually a calculator when you log into your loan that says, if I pay this much principal right now, how much will I save long term? Like literally on the payment calculator. If I made an extra payment every month, how much will it cut my payments? So you can literally do it on the New American Funding website. That makes that work for you. So crazy question. You can't buy it down any more than you have right now. 2.75 is amazing. It's amazing. But you can game the bank. You can do better for you.
Yeah, good job, 3988. Temple Tony said, "Thanks, man. Smash some likes for you." I did see him fly in. We're
Appreciate you.
at 1,100 likes already, guys. Thank you for the love. Hell yeah. CCG said told Lisa 7 to 10 days. What was Lisa's question?
How long does appraisal take?
Oh, got it.
Yep.
Geo, if the home needs work, will FHA decline? Geo, start tapping that screen.
Good question, Gio. Very good question. It's going to depend on what you mean by needs work. So, if you walk in there and you've got neon walls and shag carpet because this house was built in the 70s and you go, oh God, this house needs work. FHA don't give a shit. If you can move in and you can live in it, because you can live in neon walls and shag carpet, FHA don't care. That's not needs work. However, if you walk in and you say, hey, I'm in the middle of the living room and I can see sunlight because there's a hole in the roof, that needs work. That needs work. And FHA will not necessarily decline the house, but it will mandate that the work is done prior to closing of the house. FHA wants you to be move-in ready with one exception. If you tack a 203K loan onto an FHA loan, that's a special loan that's designed to get a portion of the house ready to be lived in, but the remainder of the house must be ready. So FHA wants you move-in ready. So if you need work and the work is, hey, I need to fix the foundation or there's a big hole in the side of the house, FHA is going to say, yeah, fix that before you move in. That's your answer.
There you go, Gio. Hopefully you give us a bunch of hearts for that one. Guys, if you're interested in getting a home loan, go to the link in the bio. Select apply for a home loan now. Credit's a big stopping point for a lot of people. If you know you've messed up in life and you don't have the best credit, there's a link there that says fix my credit. But you know what time it is?
Time for a commercial.
Yeah.
Hey, if you need a badass loan officer, call Chris and Lee. Your badass loan officers at New American Funding are Chris and Lee, and this is their private cell phone numbers. Private? Yes, private. Even though we put it on the internet all the time, it's still our private cell phone numbers. You can reach us by calling us. Lee's at the top, Chris is at the bottom. Reach out to us. We will help you with your loan.
Boom. Okay. Temple Tony, how much % of a house do you recommend putting down on a home?
Temple Tony, depends. Depends.
They hate that answer.
I know. So, if you've got money, if you got bank, if you're rolling in the dough, 20%. I recommend 20% because you can get around all MI with 20%. And there's no point paying MI if you got bank 20%. And you'll get a better rate. But if you're struggling to get the down payment, if you don't know how much you're going to have, well then I'm going to tell you what you can get away with, which is 3.5%. 3.5 on an FHA. If you've got great credit but no bank, 3% on a home ready or a home possible. That's a Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac loan. Now, a lot of people say, hey, I'd like to do the down payment assistance programs. I'm not a super fan of down payment assistance programs. I will do them, and they are appropriate occasionally. But when I actually give the details on a down payment assistance program, I just got off the phone a minute ago before we went live, and the guy says, hey, if I qualify for $400,000, that's badass. I'm like, yeah, you have a 760 FICO score. This is great. He goes, cool. Can we go down payment assistance? I say, yeah, we sure can. We sure can. Let me run the numbers real quick for you. Okay, $400,000. You're now buying $320,000. Wait, Lee, you told me 400. Yeah, 400 if you put your own money in. If you're trying to get somebody else's money, they're not going to let you redline it. That makes sense, right? And they always say, well, I guess since you put it that way, yeah. So down payment assistance programs always have a catch to them. And they're not free. There's always a catch. There's always a catch. Sometimes it's a higher interest rate and a grant. Higher interest rate. Sometimes it's a silent second. Down payment assistance, silent second. You got to pay it back. There's always some type of catch to the down payment assistance programs. So, how much do I recommend? If you got bank, 20%. If not, 3.5%, sometimes 5%, sometimes 10%.
Yeah, good answer. Temple Tony, there you go. Ryan, Do you guys service West Virginia?
West Virginia.
It's over
Yes.
the state over there.
It's the west one. There's a Virginia, and there's a West Virginia. Yeah. Yes, West Virginia, all 50 states, all 50 states, even the ones that aren't connected. The ones that are not connected are Hawaii and Alaska. But we still service those guys. In fact, trying to put my first loan together in Alaska. It's weird. So weird.
What's homeowners insurance there?
It's weird.
Is it
dude.
wacky? Is it expensive?
I don't think they have big fires there because it's all in the snow.
Yeah, but like, do you need water? I mean, flood insurance?
I don't know. I'm on that property. Every property, like where I live, my primary residence is in Austin, Texas, at Lake Travis, and where I live, no flood insurance needed. Like 3 streets over, flood insurance on every single house. Why? Because when the lake raises, this is the area that it's gotten high enough where it touched before. So I'm in the spot where there is no flood insurance, but you can literally from one block to another block need flood insurance or not. And some of these houses are built on stilts. So strange, so cool.
Yeah, Ryan, we service West Virginia. Did you give us a bunch of hearts? Taco Dom, thank you for joining. Ashley, thank you for the love. George Vasquez, hola guys. What are you guys' opinion on putting your business in a trust than having an LLC?
Putting your business in a trust than having an LLC. Well, your business is a business. And if it's a real business, there's going to be multiple shareholders. Okay, so it depends on how you look at business. This is how they're self-employed, which means you work for yourself. And the real simple test is this. If you walked away from your job and you went on a 2-year vacation, 2 years, and you came back, would your business have grown bigger without you? Or would it have went away? If it grew bigger, then you have a business. If it went away, you're self-employed and you use a corporation. Those are 2 different things. So like the CEO of Microsoft, who's the CEO of Microsoft right now? Or even Apple? Whoever.
Tim Cook.
Tim Cook, yeah, good catch, good. So Tim Cook, if Tim Cook went away for 2 years and he said, hey, I'm going on vacation for 2 years, and he came back, there would be a new acting president, a new acting CEO. This business would keep growing. It would not matter that he was gone. The board would probably fire him because you don't get 2-year vacations. But Apple would continue growing because it's a real business with multiple lines and multiple people. So if you're talking about your corporation, it's already a corporation. Why would you put it in a trust? What? Why? It's a corporation. The point of a corporation is that it's a corporation. A trust is a trust. An LLC is a limited liability corporation. Those are 3 different things. So you said, hey, what if I took my right hand, put it in my left hand, and then I took my right hand and went right around the outside of the other one? It's you. Who cares? It doesn't matter.
It's like putting your car in the garage
Yeah.
It's already in the garage.
What? Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
George, maybe you want to ask that question different?
Yeah.
Maybe there's a different idea?
I got a house for sale.
Hell yeah, Marcos!
What's up, Marcos?
Where you at?
So, and why are you telling us? Your realtor should have already locked down that contract. Marco. So if you're trying to sell a house, there's 2 ways to do it. One is you actually know the market, you know the days on the market, you know what your actual price is. That's one way, and that's a business way to sell a house. There's another way. And the other way is like, my house is worth more than everybody else here, and I don't give a shit what that damn realtor says. I know he says it's worth $450. I'm going $520. You know why? Let him bid it down. Yeah, Marco, that's not a good idea.
Well, maybe he needs an agent. Maybe he's like,
maybe
I have a house to sell.
You know what? Yeah.
Can you help me?
Can you help me get an agent?
Yeah.
You know what? We're here for you, Marco.
Hell yeah. Team Sanchez back in the live.
What's up, Team Sanchez? Great to see you.
Charisma Cardenas, start tapping that screen.
Charisma.
Question, with all due respect, why go through you instead of my bank?
Charisma, you don't have to say due respect. That's a good question no matter what. That's a good question no matter how you slice it. So here's how it works, okay? Charisma. There are banks out there. So let's just say Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo, great bank. I bank with them, okay? They also deal in auto loans. Do they? Yeah, cool. They also deal in checking accounts. Do they? Yeah, cool. They also deal in savings account. Yeah, cool. They'll lend you money on a yacht. They'll lend you money on a motorcycle. They're across the board. They don't just deal in houses. Now, Wells Fargo does have a wholesale branch, wholesale line. And New American Funding, who is a direct lender, the only thing we do is mortgages. That's it. We don't deal with any, we don't do home loans. We don't do business loans.
We do home loans.
I'm sorry. We do home loans. Thank you for
That's
catching
all we
that.
do.
That's all we do is home loans. See, I was testing him. He passed. Yeah. We don't do personal loans. Thank you. We don't do personal loans. We don't do motorcycle loans. We don't do yacht loans. We don't do any of those other type of loans. We don't do checking accounts.
CDs?
We don't do saving accounts. We don't do CDs. All we do, home loans. That's it. Every day we wake up, home loans. We go to sleep, home loans. Monday, home loans. Thursday, home loans. Saturday, home loans. Yeah, home loans is all we do. Now, because we're such a big bank and we're able to do a lot of home loans, we go to Wells Fargo and we say, hey, Mr. Wells Fargo, yeah, we'd like to sell your mortgages. And Wells Fargo says, why, yeah, sure, we'll make some money off of you if you sell our mortgages. Cool. All right, but we're not your normal buyer coming in saying, hey, can I get $500,000 loan for a house? We want to bring you $100 million a month. What kind of rates will you give us? Well, if you're bringing us $100 million a month, we'll give you better than the retail guy, that's for sure. So many times I can beat a Wells Fargo loan officer that's sitting in the Wells Fargo branch with their own Wells Fargo loan. What? Yeah, that's real. That's called brokering a loan. And sometimes when Wells Fargo wants to beef up their FHA portfolio, they'll send us better rates than we can do, than anybody else can do, and we get to price everybody. We get to price New American Funding, which is our primary line, but we also price Wells Fargo, AmeriHome, Chase, all these other different banks. We do all of these different banks, and we can do better. Now, let me give you an exception where sometimes I get my ass beat by a local bank. Sometimes. So let's say you lived in a fishing community and there was a fishing credit union where all the fishermen got together, they put all their money in there, and all they do is loans for fishermen. That's it. That's all they do. Well, guess what? Those are called proprietary loans, and that can be done by a credit union. So if a credit union does that, New American Funding doesn't offer it. In that case, that fisherman loan, I can't compete with it. I'll come out with your standard FHA, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, VA, USDA, a lot of alt QMs. I'll sell all the big banks, Chase, AmeriHome, Freedom. I'll sell all of them. But that local fisherman credit union, I can't sell that loan because it's only available to the local fishermen. So it is a case by case. Most of the time, you're better off with us. I will say that, and I will. There's reasons for it. The other question is, should I go with a broker or should I go with a direct lender? That's a whole different conversation. But if you're a local fisherman and you're a fisherman who needs a house and you have a specific way of making a living, I go out on that ship and then I catch a whole lot of fish, and every 7 weeks I come back in and I make $30,000. And then I got to go back out before I make my next $30,000. You might be better off with your local bank, but most of the time, you're better off with us.
I'll give you this exact scenario that happened last Friday, 3 days ago. So, past client called me and said, I got pre-qualified with Chase. I want to let you know that out the gate. I just want to see what you can do now, Chris. Because they know me. Worked up the pre-qual, said, here's your numbers. They said, cool, we're going with you. Let's start shopping. Literally, just like that. Chase. We have a line with Chase. Yeah. Gamer. I'll buy all cash. Good job.
All right.
I buy houses all cash in Texas. So
Good
you're
for
an investor.
you. Yeah. So you're an investor. Good job.
User 3988. Much appreciated for the tips. Thank you.
We are here for you.
And thank you for the hearts, guys. The hearts are coming in. We really appreciate it.
Jordan, are VA rates up or down today? I think they're down a little bit. but they're pretty solid right now. We're in a weird spot where the Fed came out and he talked. And the Fed said, hey, listen, things aren't going the way we thought they were going to go. So we're going to change our perspective. And we're not going to say 3 interest rate cuts in the year 2024. We're going to say 1, maybe 1. So the market did not freak out because it was already priced in. And it kind of found some certainty and moved back down. If you went to New American Funding website right now, the way you do it is you go back to our page, you go to cool links, cool stuff, and then today's rates, and you'd see 5.875 today on a VA.
All right. Risk. Thank you for the love. Ryan, if my current finance company sold my loan, is the new servicer still obligated for the promised fee? Fee, I'm assuming? For the promised free.
Free.
Oh, refi. Free refi.
Free refi. Ryan, good question. It's contractual. So, yes. Now, I don't know who's doing the free refi. New American Funding is, and New American Funding is real good about keeping their own paper. They don't sell it off, especially if they have something like this out there. But, yes, it's contractual. You can't just walk away from a contract because you sold it. It's contractual. Mm-hmm. So, bear in mind that there's a person that finances it. So that's the bank that finances it. And then there's something built into those mortgage payments. Because if you borrowed $300,000, by the time you're done in 30 years, you'll pay $1 million. And that profit of $600,000 plus is going to the bank and the servicer. There's servicing rights behind every loan. And when the servicer buys the servicing rights, he's making money off the servicing rights. But everything is contractual. So if they contractually obligated themselves to a refinance, they owe you the refinance.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you did it with us, and let's just say that our scenario we just gave you and you went to Chase or Wells Fargo, yeah, you're in our database. You're gonna be fine. MWX65, I paid 2 different appraisal, different outcome by $100,000. Be careful in who is doing, I'm assuming, your appraisal.
MX, that's a big difference. Big difference. Mm-hmm. So 100 G's, that is either 10% on $1 million loan or 30% on a $300,000 loan. So I need more data, but 100 G's, that's a lot. And if I had that issue, some appraiser's going to lose his job because I check the appraisers. I check them, and if they're way off, can't do it.
Yep. User 7387. If you want a liberal loan officer, call Chris and Lee. I love your jokes. Ashley C. VA loan doesn't require credit score.
Ashley C. Welcome.
Start tapping that screen, Ashley.
Ashley, you gotta tap that screen. Welcome to the party, Ashley. So, VA by the guidelines, the straight guidelines. No. There's no FICO requirement for the guidelines. There's no FICO requirement. So if you got a loan officer running around going, hey, I can do a VA loan with a 580 or a 620, it's their overlay. It's their bank that has a limitation. It's not the VA. If you're VA direct, which we're VA direct, big banks go VA direct. If you're VA direct, there is no underwriting guideline that says you must have a certain FICO score. That's not to say your FICO is not factored in, because it is. It's factored in a lot. They still check to see, did you pay your bills on time? Are you late on certain things? Are you in bankruptcy? All of those things, but it's not a hard stop. Like, for instance, if you said, hey, I want to do a Fannie Mae loan. I got a 582 FICO. I'd say, you're not doing a Fannie Mae loan. You're not doing a Fannie Mae. You're not doing a Freddie Mac. I might be able to get you an FHA. Because there's hard stops on these loans, but VA doesn't work that way.
So tell Ashley why they might want to use this team for VA. Give them a good reason.
Well, lots of reasons. One, we've been doing it for a long time. Two, I am a veteran. I have a VA loan. My son's a veteran, or actually he's active duty, so he's not a veteran yet. My dad's a veteran. We do the majority of our business for the last probably 10 years has been VA loans, and because of that, we know a lot of the tricks and tips on a VA loan.
Like
There's
what?
A lot of them.
Like what?
So, if there's only one bad one downside to a VA loan, only one downside. And that downside is called a funding fee. And that funding fee can get very expensive, like 3.3% expensive. Now, if you're doing a $500,000 house, 3.3% is roughly $18,000. So that's an expensive fee. Now, if you're service connected at 10% or greater, you can waive that VA funding fee. Now, that's usually taken care of by the VA. Usually, because when you go pull your COE, that certificate of eligibility, it's going to say exempt. However, there's a large percentage of veterans who just got service connected and it hasn't made it through the system yet. And when they pull the COE, it says non-exempt. If you have a loan officer who doesn't know what's going on, he won't even know to say, that's wrong. Because whatever the VA gave me must be right. Well, if you've been dealing with a VA is wrong a lot. So, I would say, if you were working with me, I would say, okay, cool. You said you're receiving $300 a month from the VA? Yeah, cool. Can you send me a piece of paper that says that? Cool. Thank you for that piece of paper. Hey, VA, you're wrong. I need you to reissue this COE that says exempt on it right now. And we would be able to do that. That would save you $18,000 in that scenario. Now, if you have a loan officer who does not know this, they will pull the COE and the COE will say non-exempt, and they'll say, yeah, you're not exempt. I don't know why, it's the VA thing. Okay, cool. And then you're like, all right, I guess if I have to pay it, I pay it. Then you paid $18,000. Now, there's actually an industry out there that goes after the VA to try and get that funding fee back because it's that big of a problem. But if you have a good loan officer who knows what they're doing, then you don't have to worry about it from the jump. That's one of those examples. There's a lot of them, though.
Yep. So if you want to get your VA loan, or if you just want to get a home loan, you need some good loan officers. Link is in the bio. Phone number is in the bio if you want to have a conversation, guys. Jillian Van Sice. If I'm buying an investment property with a DSCR program, can I qualify if I am renting from someone?
Yes. Simple answer. Yes, Jillian. DSCR doesn't care about your primary residence. Does not care. Doesn't care what your income is. We don't even give a shit. I mean, we don't care. We don't even care. Not even a little bit. We don't care. There's only one thing we care about. One thing. Does this fit the DSCR profile? Wait, what's that? DSCR profile. Very simple. 20% down. 121.25% operating. What does that mean? That means if your mortgage, after you put the 20% down, comes in at $2,000 and you're able to rent it for $3,000, that's over 125% of the note rate. Because of that, you qualify for DSCR. Oh, by the way, you got to have a good FICO score.
Yeah, that's a good one. Jesse Ruiz, start tapping that screen. Can I finance a house that is an auction? I would give that one a maybe.
Well,
there's only one reason why I would give it a maybe, though.
Yeah. So what do you mean by it's at auction?
So he's talking about going to an auction and buying a house. Can you finance it?
Can you finance a house that is in auction? Like you're going to the auction and trying to buy it with financing?
Yes, that's how I take it.
Yeah. You're probably not in that realm, Jesse. You're probably not in that realm because financing is a full underwriting situation, and auctions are, hey, this is what it is. You get a good deal, but you better have cash right now. So auctions are usually for people who can settle up at the end of the auction immediately. In fact, usually just to get a paddle, you have to show proof of funds in order to get in there. So there's even something that we have called a NAV cash program, but I don't think you could use NAV cash for an auction. I don't think not in a million years because it'd have to qualify through a certain situation, and there'd have to be a look down and see if it's good for title. Does it have a clean title? Is there any liens against it?
Can it be appraised?
Yeah, it has to be appraised. So I'm going to say under that scenario, unless I'm reading this question wrong, yeah, no, Jesse, no.
Look into it, Jesse. Sarge, is it complicated to get a USDA loan for a house?
Sarge. No, very easy. But very few qualify. It's very easy though. Sarge, first thing you got to do, find the house. All right, cool. Once you find the house, go to usda.gov, put the address into the house. If you get a green thumbs up, we can move to the next step. That's where we lose most people. If you get a red thumbs down, you can't move forward. USDA is a different type of loan. It is geographically qualified prior to having the borrower qualified. Most loans are borrower qualified and then we qualify the house because most loans are FHA, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, VA, blah, blah, blah. So if you go with your other loans other than USDA, then you qualify the borrower first. And that's how we do most of our loans. But if you're trying for a USDA, you got to make sure that that address qualifies first. It's not an area, it's an address. And if it's registered with if it's registered and USDA gives it the thumbs up, then we go, cool, the property qualifies. Now let's qualify the buyer. So Sarge, not complicated, but difficult finding the house.
I'll agree with that one. Guys, don't forget to keep tapping that screen. Give us some shares. We want to get some more questions in here. And hang in there. We have a lot of questions. We're going to get to every one of you. Mac, do you recommend putting down 3.5% on a $500,000 house? I know you're going to say that it depends on credit.
Mac, no, I'm not. I am not gonna say it depends on credit. If you have the 3.5% down, I'm going to assume you're going on an FHA. If you're going FHA, that's because you don't have good enough credit to go Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac. Which means if you don't have good enough credit to go Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac, Home Ready or Home Possible, you're way better off putting 3.5% down. Way better off. Way better off. Now, if you had an 800 FICO score, I might try and convince you to entertain Home Ready and Home Possible because those two programs will let you put 3% down. But you better have a damn good FICO score before you try that.
Yeah, and I would say that probably 29 out of 30 buyers that go FHA put 3.5% down. Maybe that one puts a little bit more.
I would go with that.
That one.
Yeah,
it's very rare.
Yeah.
So not a dumb question at all, Mac, and not on credit.
Yeah.
Thank you for the hearts if that was you. Rafa, start tapping that screen. Got conventionally approved by underwriter that needed a letter of explanations.
Okay.
Eloise.
So Rafa, that sounds very intrusive. And when I first got into the mortgage business, I was like, well, how do I answer this? And the answer is very simple. Just be honest.
What's the answer?
Yeah, I know. It's like, they're like, it says that you were working for 6 months. How do I answer that? And people would go, well, can I tell them that I had a medical emergency and then I had to quit my job and then I had to this and I had to do all this and I've done better and it's not going to happen again. And I'm like, okay, let's do that. And I was writing these big old long LOEs. And then I finally went to an underwriter and I said, so will this pass? And they're like, we don't really care what you say as long as it just makes sense a little bit. And like I was like, what do you mean if it makes sense a little bit? Like if you took out $8,000 to buy a motorcycle cash and you need an LOE for the motorcycle and we didn't use that money for qualifying for the house, well just say took $8,000 out to buy a motorcycle. That's it. We don't care. We just need to have some explanation.
Yeah.
Some explanation. So that's Eloise.
So you didn't get conventional approved. You got conditionally approved, maybe for a conventional loan.
Yeah.
Sierra, what's up, guys?
What's up, Sierra? Great to see you.
Jillian Van Sice, I believe a trust is for when, if he passes, the children don't have to go through probate.
Jillian Van Slice, you have done your homework. You are correct, but there are multiple types of trusts. What you are talking about is called a living trust. A living trust doesn't have its own EIN number. An EIN number lends itself to family trust or corporate trust. Or there's about 10 other or more than that types of trust. But those type of trusts have to register with the IRS, have an EIN number, and do taxes every year. A living trust rides the Social Security number of the trustor or creator until the passing of the trustor or the creator, and then goes to the successor trustees.
You should say successor.
Successor. That's how I remember when I went to school. So if you are doing a living trust, that is not its own entity. That is a trust that rides the social security number of the trustor creator.
Judith, you have some concern here, and I'm going to read it, but I'm going to let you know this is fantastic. Judith says she's hesitant. Sellers are paying most of our closing costs. Lowered home from $400 to $374. Does that seem like a good investment?
Okay, Judith. There's a lot to unpack here. They lowered their home from $400 to $374. So my first question is, what are comps at? If you went to a model match, which means this exact 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 2,300 square foot home with a 4,000 lot, exact. What's the fair market value of that one? Because that's what the house should be going for. If they lowered it from 400 to 374, that's a significant low. That's significant. That's like a lot. That's like kind of a lot. And there might be problems one of two ways. One is with the house, the other is with the borrower. What does that mean? Well, if it's with the house, they say, hey, we'll sell this to you on the cheap, but we don't want a termite inspection. Do you know why they would say that? Because they know there's termites. That's why they'd say that. So they lower the price to compensate for that. So that's with the unit. That's with the house. There's problems with the house. Problems with the seller are this. I'm getting a divorce from that guy and I don't give a shit. I don't want nothing to do with him no more. I don't care if we sell this cheap and someone gets a deal. I do not care. I just never want to talk to him again.
He made her mad.
Or his secretary. Don't
Big
want to talk
mad.
to either one of them ever again. Drop the price. Sell the damn thing. So, if you have the first scenario, then you need to really have good home inspections, a good realtor, and really understand what's going on. If you're 100% certain that it's the second scenario, you're getting a deal. You're getting a deal, and that happens. Just life.
I think either way, you're getting a deal. And if you have a good agent, you're going to do their due diligence. Yeah. And if there's work that's needed on the property, guess what else happens to the price? You might have to put money into it, but you're going to get a good price.
Yeah, but I'll tell you where you wouldn't be getting a deal. They say, hey, listen, let's just not use realtors.
Yeah,
and
that's not smart at all.
And
Don't
then
do that.
I'll give you, instead of 400, I'll give you 374. And by the way, I put new carpet in. Well, wait a minute. Why'd you put new carpet in? Well, because underneath, when you lift that carpet up, there's a gigantic crack on that cement, which means there's foundation issues.
Or chalk outline of a body.
Or chalk outline of a body, or whatever. But use a realtor. It's very important.
Yes. Daniel Espinola. When getting approved with lenders, use gross pay or net pay?
Daniel, good question. Depends.
Depends.
What does it depend on? If you're W-2, gross. If you're 1099, net. That's it. Because those are your two ways to get paid. W-2, 1099, W-2, gross, 1099, net.
Lance, start tapping that screen, my
What's
man.
up, Lance?
I got a conventional 360 months, 77% loan approval, 7% rate, I'm assuming. Can you do better?
I priced a 6.125 Friday. No kidding, 6.125 at par. And for some reason, AmeriHome right now wants loans that are in this wheelhouse, 280,000 to 400,000. So I think I can smoke that 700 rate, or 7% rate. I think I can smoke it. You'd have to have a good credit score. I'd have to see that. But I think I can smoke that rate. And I don't know why AmeriHome's trying to build their portfolio, but I know right now they're beating everybody, not by a little bit, by like that much.
Okay. Shelly Johnson, thank you for the love. Swaney gift. My LLC earns more than my personal. Can I use my LLC as bank statements? I am only member LLC.
So, Swania gift. Swania gift. Okay, so Swania gift. Here, this gets really, really complicated. Really complicated. Here's why. Because if you have an LLC and you have K1s, then your K1s are going to flow through all of your profit or losses through the K1 to your 1040. If you're filing 1120s with the K1 and you have an LLC, if you're filing 1120s, if you're filing 1065s, we have a different problem. But if you show that you're 100% owner and the K1s flow through to you, then you can use that corporation income for you. Now, can you use it for bank statements? There's an argument that says maybe, but it's real dicey because you went through the corporation and you 100% own the corporation. So that's kind of your saving grace, but it's also the thorn in your side. And if you have money in the corporation, sometimes I'm able to use that money in the corporation as your private money.
Nice. Charisma Cardenas. Thanks. I'll call. We'll be looking forward to it. Victor Rivera, thank you for the love. Grace, thank you for the love. Swania Gift. Better gave me 6.875. Is that good? Better. Lender, I'm assuming, gave me 6.875. Is that good?
Like I told that last guy, same guy, 6.125 at par. 6.125 at par. I was blown away. I actually called my manager. I said, is this an error? Because 6.125 at par is crazy low. And they said, AmeriHome right now wants this category of loan, 285. I tried price one, but 280 wouldn't work. So it's $285,000 to $400,000. That sweet spot. We have a broker situation where we're smoking everybody. Above 400, no good. Below 285, no good. But in that sweet spot, which it sounds like you're in that sweet spot, I think I can smoke that.
Swania. All right. If you guys are interested in getting a home loan, go to the link in the bio, select apply for a home loan now, or get our phone number, and we'll have a conversation. And time for our last commercial.
If you need a badass loan officer, call Chris and Lee, your badass loan officers at New American Funding. You can reach them on their private cell phones by calling the numbers on the screen. But don't call them right now. Don't be dumb. You know why? Because Chris's phone is live on Instagram, and
I pointed at Instagram.
Oh. Lee's phone is live on TikTok. Oh, I see what you're doing.
Yeah, see?
I was like, I was like, did I say something wrong? Am I gonna get banned again? So
TikTok.
give us a call. We'll help you out.
All right, love it. User 61, 51, 65, 60. I don't know. Is it a good time to be a loan officer? May do all commission, but keep my day job.
So, is it a good time to be a loan officer? Only. No. It's probably not. No matter how you slice it, everybody's loan officer. Your income is down very low. Most of them went out of business. There's a few of us OGs who have a big enough book or different ways of getting business. Like, for instance, we get a lot of business from TikTok and Instagram and Facebook and YouTube. We get a lot of business. I'd say over half of our business is coming from social media one way or another. Now, we do have a big book of realtors that we've been helping for years, like over 10 years. Years and years and years. And they call us and say, hey, I got this one off. But realtors are out of business. Loan officers are out of business. So I know a lot of loan officers that, gave up and they just went on solar. They're off doing something else. They're not being loan officers anymore. And the ones that are still in, they're making way less than they used to. Way less. Most loan officers would be better off in the state of California at a fast food joint. Because $20 an hour is how much a year?
40
grand a year. Most loan officers aren't even making 40 grand a year. They're not even making 40 grand a year. Not even 40 grand a year. So they would be better off at McDonald's, $20 an hour at the front desk. They would be making more money. Now, when rates get better, when the market gets better, loan officers can make a lot of money. Like $1 million a year. Like a lot of money. But you better be damn good. like damn good. Not just, you can't just walk in and go, hey, let me try this thing, because you're gonna go earn a realtor relationship. They're gonna go, okay, cool, thank you for sitting in the open house with me. Let's go ahead and get you going on this thing. All right, cool. This is a veteran. Awesome, cool. All right, got you qualified for $400,000. Cool, you're in escrow. And now you get through the process and you're like, the manager comes up and says, yeah, what was the residual calculation? And you say, what's a residual calculation? You just lost that escrow because you don't know what a residual calculation is. And you're like, wait a minute, shouldn't have somebody taught me? Nobody's going to teach you. Nobody gives a shit. You got to be good. You learn from somebody like us who've already screwed up a bunch of times. And by the way, you know how I learned this scenario? Because I did that exact same thing my first year in the business. I didn't do the residual calculation and I lost a loan. And you know what else I lost way bigger than that? The realtor will never refer me again. Escrow didn't want to work with me anymore. It was a horrible situation because I was paying my dues. Paid them. Still here. Is it a good time to be a loan officer? Nah. If you don't know what you're doing and you don't have a big book, probably not. Unless you, one slice angle. If you have an angle, if you've got some type of angle. What's an angle? We had a loan officer that was a junior loan officer working not for us but for one of our competitive loan officers. And we're like, hey, how come you're working with that guy? Because his mom is a top producing realtor and she runs a team of 40 different realtors. He's just going to keep getting business. If you got an angle like that, yeah, it's a good time to be a loan officer.
All right, time for rapid fire, man. Let's rapid fire.
You can't be
rapid. Well, we never get through it, man. We have so many fans that I want to make sure everyone's happy today.
Cool. Want to help you?
Don't forget to tap that screen, guys. Skunk Works. What kind of loan can I get that includes all current debt in it as well as a home price?
None.
George Vasquez. Trust question.
Go.
That's all he said.
Okay.
Tasha Ross. I'm gonna hunt for a lender for VA.
Tasha, you found him. No question about it. Do some due diligence. Check the reviews, and listen to us. I mean, here's the gig. The only way that you would go live like this, where people can come at you, because they do, is because you really got to know your shit. We know our shit. We do. Very rarely will you stump us. And if you stump us on one show, we'll know it by the next show. We will dig into the guidelines, find everything out. We know the VA loan cold. There's good VA loans on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. There are a lot of good. That's not to say there's not other ones. But I will tell you right now, we're badass.
Rapid fire.
Oh, sorry. Rapid fire.
Eric Gonzalez, would you go for a house that needs work? Selling for $200,000, maybe $10,000 in work needed. That would be fine for $230,000.
Yeah, all day long, all day, every day, all day.
Mikey 2012, need help, 700 score, debt to income ratio is 800 a month. I make $87,000 yearly in Miami. Do I qualify?
I don't know what 800 a month means. What is your income?
Just his monthly payment.
Which is 87. So if you make $87,000 a year, I'll give you the quick calculation. 800 a month, just double that, 1,600. So 1,600 times 12 months, 20,000. So you really make $67,000 a year. If you make $67,000 a year, how much can you buy?
About $280 to $340.
$280 to $340. So 700 FICO score, you're golden there. $280 to $340, somewhere in that range.
Me drum. You can if people auction it, allow it.
Yeah, maybe.
Jack Tenbush. Yeah, I said that right. How does a HELOC work? I owe $350 on my house, and the house is worth $450 to $500.
So HELOC, real simple. 80% loan to value is where you start. So if the house is worth $450, I'm going to take $90,000 off to get you to 80%. 45 twice, 90,000. So $90,000 off $450 is going to take me to $360 for fees and everything. You don't qualify for any HELOC at $450. Nothing, nodding, zero, nothing. At $500, you might get the difference of $50,000.
Slednick said he's self-employed.
Good for you, man.
X Station 21. What is Dakota Prescott doing hockey mortgages during the NFL offseason?
I dig when this guy says that because
every time.
Dakota. It's not Dak. It's Dakota. So, by the way, verbiage gives you away all the time.
Is this a troll? Is this maybe, what do they call them? A bot?
Maybe. No, I don't think so.
No?
No, I think somebody calls him Dakota. Somebody,
Okay.
because tell you the truth, I didn't know his name was Dakota. I knew
didn't
him
care.
as Dak. You didn't care. I knew.
I do look like him, though.
Dak.
I do
He's
look
Dak.
like him.
Yeah, Dak.
Adil Shonobid. I'm on temporary disability income, which is $4K a month. Can I qualify?
Yes, but we have to know a little bit more about that temporary. Like, does it end in July or August? And if it does, do you go back to work? If it's like, hey, you had a medical procedure, you're on temporary disability, and August 1st you go back to work, and then you start making this much money. Cool. Until August 1st, I have to use the lower rate. Once you go back, I can immediately jump to the higher rate.
Guys, I need you tapping that screen. Keep tapping. Get us to 10,000.
Yeah.
We're at 4,400 right now. Slednex, USDA, do second home vacation homes.
No.
All right. Mike, thank you for the love. Mac, 720, 680.
720
All day
FICO, 680 purchase price. I don't know what the hell that means.
I think that's two FICO scores.
So maybe her FICO 720 is his 680. If you're married, I can do blended. If not, then I would go with the 680.
Yeah, Mac. Cat, what is Fannie Mae or FHA?
Fannie Mae, these are, okay, so FHA is a straight government program. FHA straight government program. Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac are called GSE, Government Sponsored Enterprise. Government Sponsored Enterprise, which means they're not government owned, but they're government influenced. Because when they ran into trouble in the big crash, the government bailed them out, so they have a little bit of say on the underwriting guidelines. So that's Fannie Mae or FHA.
Thank you for the hearts. Keep them coming. Mac said, got you guys. Thank you.
Appreciate you, Mac.
Jesse, 560 score, $87,000 a year.
You ain't getting nothing, Jesse.
What does he need?
You need a better FICO score because that FICO score hurts you a lot.
Yeah.
Like a lot. You're not getting nothing right now. You could say FHA goes down to 500. It does. But there's something causing that 560 FICO. We have to find out what's causing it, fix it, and then we'll get you something.
Call us. We'll get you there. Cali Life 06. Worked for 1 year, laid off for 6 months, been back to work for 9 months. Will that be enough time?
Yes. Like right now. The guideline says if you were laid off and you did not work for more than 6 months and you go back to work, you must work 6 months. You said you worked 9 months. Because of that, you passed the 6-month mark. And we are golden.
Triple J said, hello.
What's up, Triple J?
Rajvinder in the house. AB 1993, 2003 to 2004. My world is about to change.
I don't know what that means. I want to know, Rajvinder. I'm very fascinated with your journey. Like, ridiculously fascinated with your journey. Does that mean things are going to get a whole lot better or a whole lot worse? You tell me.
It seems like good.
Yeah.
T-Boo W290, whatever. Advice for starting a family compound, credit score over 750.
T-Boo, you can do something called an FHA one-time construct. If you did that FHA one-time construct, you could build from the land. And on that land, you could make your primary residence and your mother-in-law house all inside of the plans, and that starts your compound. FHA one-time construct, VA one-time construct. Both of those, you can do that.
Triple J Capital, we're looking to partner with lenders and investors. What can I do to get on a call? DM us. Just DM us.
Yeah, just DM us. Triple J, we appreciate you. We hope you're legit, but we do vet people before we lend our reputation to them. So we do have to vet you a lot. You really got to know what you're talking about before we'll, partner. But, yeah, we're open to it.
Reese, 6.125. Must be going borrower paid. Isn't closing costs higher on borrower paid?
It's not borrower paid. No, it's 6.1. Well, depends. No, it's not. It was par. 6.125 at par. Par. I was like, this can't be right because the next closest one was 6.875, the next competitor. And I was like, 6.125, 6.875. I literally got on the phone. I'm like, hey, I think we have a problem with the pricing matrix. They're like, no, AmeriHome just wants these loans. And I'm like, you're shitting me. That's a hell of a, yeah, if you get it in, lock it right away. Yeah, par.
Yeah. Carlos Castro, thank you for the love. Lady Chica got approved for bank statement loan, but interest is 10%, credit 740 and 815.
Congratulations. That's actually not a bad interest rate.
Jack Tenbush, is refinancing rates higher when you would be buying a home than when you would be buying a home?
Probably not. It's going to be probably a little bit lower, most likely the same. So maybe a little bit lower because you have a history of paying your house on time. That's the reason. But about the same.
Mike 2012, thank you for the love.
Appreciate you, Mike.
Gadani, hello. I just finished schooling. I'm about to get my first paycheck from my job. Can I qualify?
If you got a degree or certificate and you spent the last 2 years in school, yes, one paycheck, all I need.
All right. Matthew Delgado, how do I get my house appraised to see how much equity I have?
Go to Google, type in appraiser, hire him, pay him. He will give you appraisal.
The scholarship mogul, I'm from Miami, you won't be able to buy.
I probably believe you because Miami's pretty expensive.
Charisma Cardenas, what's the earn money hack mentioned in your profile?
You go.
It's a side hustle. It's digital marketing. Takes about 2 hours a day for the first 90 days. Alexander Martinez, what is the minimum credit
Ashley.
score for HELOC?
I miss Ashley.
Ashley, that's pretty too. With
That
the
is pretty,
hearts.
yeah. You can't
What's
miss
the best
Ashley.
loan for a first-time home buyer with a 620 credit score?
You're probably going to be better off with FHA all day, even though you do qualify for Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. But if you're a first-time home buyer, 620 is not a great score, but it's better in FHA than it is in Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac because Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, they just barely let you in the door. Because if you had a 619, you're not even allowed in the door. At FHA, you're allowed in the door at 580. I would probably go with FHA for you.
Alexandra Martinez, what's the minimum credit score for HELOC?
Probably 680, 680-ish.
Shelly Renee, what are the qualifications for purchasing a second home?
Good question. Damn.
But, rapid fire.
680 to 720 FICO, probably better. You're going to need it. You're going to need 10% down. You're going to need reserves on all properties in your name. Primary residence, second home, and if you have any rentals, you need reserves for every property in your name.
Don't forget the hearts, guys.
Okay.
Dia Rhea Jones, can I buy a second home with 5% down?
Second home, no.
All right.
Second home. Now, if you bought an additional home, you might be able to get it with 5% down, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, if it's your primary residence, but it's your second home. But if it's technically your second home, like I fly to Aspen and another home in Aspen, you need 10%.
All right. Alexandra Martinez again. Score for HELOC, balance 274, value 415. We just did that one. Ashley, have you heard of the Open Sky card helping build credit quickly? If so, what is your input?
Yeah, I know about. There's a lot of different agencies that are trying to help you build your credit. Not necessarily bad. There's people that will rent you credit lines. If you dig in deep enough, they'll rent you a $20,000 credit line so you can add it to your credit and you pay them, and then later you stop paying them and they take it off. I'm not a fan of it just because you're trying to game the system. There's hacks to do it authentically. If you watch us, we'll teach you.
Asholay, that's Ashley. That's a pretty cool way of doing it. For a VA home loan, if you had one late within the last year, could you be denied?
Ash Olay, VA is very, very forgiving to the veteran. More forgiving than FHA, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, US. VA is very forgiving. One late, if it's only a 30-day, I'll probably say no problem.
All right. Gadani, can you apply for down payment assistance and FHA?
Yes, you can. As a matter of fact, most down payment assistance programs are going to ride on an FHA chassis.
Oscar Godona, what's a good score for a first-time home buyer?
Good score? Good, 680. Acceptable, 580 to 620. Great, 800.
There you go. Ashley, you're welcome. All right, dude, we're good.
Dude, I appreciate you. You know what? We appreciate you guys. We've been Chris and Lee. We are out.